cars, or all of us have cars, you change your air filters on a periodic basis, like 4 to 6 months, whatever the time frame you have. There the culture is, I do not change air filters for my trucks. Will it work? Why should I do that? The opportunity, the persona there is, or the personality there is, I buy a vehicle, I will use it for 3 years, and I prefer not to use it after 3 years. That's my mental backup. Right from the driver who uses the truck and the owner who owns the truck, they prefer not to use it more than 3 years. So they said, why should I waste on maintenance? Give me a product which is use and throw like a pen. If that is what they want, you cannot afford to have significant activities built into that. Whereas the same turbocharger, I give a 5-year warranty when I sell it in US. I give a 1-year warranty when I sell it in China. I have to sell it at 1/3 the price also. But I can't give a 1/3 performance. I have to give a 300% performance. Right? So that's how we work. So we see that it goes. I thought like that on the evening, it's nice to see Rahman, how he orchestrates. How many instruments he has, how many personas he has to work in, how many music notes he has to manage. Still he has to be successful, right? If he misses one string, right? He has to, how he masters himself, we don't know. We love to meet him, but most of us could not, right? This is the way we think in our organization, not to boost ourselves. Then the members of it. The recruitment rigor. Interesting case is that not less than 4 to 5 interviews happen, and then only the HR will meet you for recruitment. It's a standard way. How good you are, even if you happen to change my CEO, he or she goes for that. That's as simple as that. It doesn't matter on VPs or presidents or anybody else. It's that. So we have a lot of tools on the HR tools. We clearly identify the fungible skills. We never keep them as fungible skills more than 2 years. When I say fungible skills, like minimum things that you do as an engineer, right, which can be pretty quickly automated or pretty quickly replaced. We ensure that he or she doesn't stay in that platform. We give them a burning platform there that he or she changes. We also help them very clearly, articulate with them, sit down with them, mentor them. Boss, this, if you continue, what is your life after so and so days? Have you thought about it? You're comfortable today, you got a bike, you got a backpack to go with the bike, all those are fine. What next? Have you thought about it? You cajole them, you mentor them, see that the fungible skills that they may have different fungible skills 2 years from now, 3 years from now, that's fine. But not the same fungible skills as on today. So we ensure that. And on the job descriptions, of course, the diversity is we very, very fond of it and do keep doing that. More importantly, the international assignments. We are very, very clear, every department, every organization, every SBG has to identify a certain percentage at the beginning of the year to send out international assignments on a on a reciprocal basis. We call it as global assignments. What we say is, I send my technical manager from here, and I get one technical manager from there. So I don't refill it here, I refill it with the technical manager there. So he or she learns from my perspective. From that perspective, he or she is a senior person who comes here and helps me to learn. That's a standard rule. Every business unit leader, if he or she wants to grow, he should have given opportunity to a team or just team this much. Fair enough. If it's not done, your promotions are there. They take care of yourself. So they intentionally scout out, Prabhakar, can I send so and so 6 months from now? Have you planned it? No. Hey, my promotion is next year. Plan, come. Is your SDP talking about it? Your X-Matrix talking about it? Your ocean planning talking about it? If not, don't come here. Clear? Very, very articulate, even say commercial pilots. For example, I have around 16 commercial pilots. The engineers that I have requested them, identified them, and they are now formal commercial pilots. If you are not a commercial pilot, you can't write a program for a pilot. If you are not a cook, how can you go and say fast food is good? Go and make yourself dirty, come back. 3 months down the line, go. Go anywhere in the world, I'm fine. And we give them opportunities. And we have a plane, an aircraft, formally bought and landed in Bangalore. Any one day if you want, let me know. We'll organize one and we can fly. That way, the engineer who is doing that particular project, for example, A380 project, if he fumbles, my dear friend, no, not problem. 1 week from now, organize your team, I'll fly and show you. What I fumble, why I get this, what is my radar saying, what is my output saying, what is my display unit saying, what is my flight management system is saying, what is my ground reality is. Clear instructions. And this 15 people don't stay. They get moved into different roles, another 16 will come in. And every time any of the customers or people come in on chartered flights, those pilots are called to us and hosted by us to give an overview session for my guys. So we are very clear about that you need to be a dog, clear, barking how to do that, then you can hire a dog. But do something for the dog. We have that, and the career planning is unified planning, so we do about that. We also send in not only employees, but the kids of the employees and their school teachers to NASA. Fully funded by Honeywell. We say that, okay, this is how excellence can be achieved. You send them, ask them to feel for it, and let them be happy about it. So we are getting new, fresh breeds of people 5 years from now, 6 years from now, 7 years from now. So that's how we work on knowledge management, and it was very clear. This is some of the photographs of my commercial pilots with my president from US saying that, and the NASA session which has happened recently with the Honeywell NASA. And then the students also create a lot of things. Recently, the 2 weeks before, or rather 4 weeks before, in China, schools in China got, Shanghai School in China got an award from us saying that they have developed a nice small prototype of a car which can have visibility when the air quality is bad. Now the China problem is air quality, right? So these guys have come out with the instrument. The air quality can be seen more visibly than what you normally see. That's what they want to see. They are affected by that. It's closer to the heart. The children itself is coming out and saying that. And it's around those kind of things. Of course, all points has to be touched. All the fingers has to be touched. We never leave any fingerprints anywhere else. So if you look at the same thing with AR, he has to work with the drummist or the person percussionist. He has to work with the Prime Minister. He also has to work with the international celebrity, right? He has to be multifaceted. If not, he can't be successful. This is the driving force for us. Please stop me if you have any questions. I'm going fast and things like that. Machines. When you talk about machines, the state of the art is more important for us. The technology for the product and not technology for the technology per se. We never get into the SMACs in a jiffy. We think about it, we ensure that it's all done, and we get into that. Tools for use is very one. I talked about the own aircraft also. Another one which I have recently bought is the AM tool. You're aware of that, right? The 3D printing or the additive manufacturing. So we have a unit exclusively bought for us. And we are now able to identify and articulate site without much of simulation runs or testings being done. I can create a product. So we are already talking about a turbocharger for your Nano D2. It'll be on the road quickly. You have seen the turbocharger for the Honda Amaze, right? That's our product globally. Now we have a product for BMWs and Mercedes and everybody. So we don't want to continue with that. We want to come to the ground reality. That's where we can make the rubber meet the road. So this helps us in forward, not just the SMAC alone to a large extent. You can see here one of the photographs recently taken. In a power plant, this particular person uses marks and other things, but he has an iPad to control it now. Whereas he used to have reams of paper placed next to him for him or her to look through. Now the technology has so much gone in, we are able to ensure that it is done. Sorry, is it not visible? Sorry. Okay, thanks. So we worry about aircrafts, we also worry about cars. In between, we worry about the power plants, the refineries, and other activities also. That's our portfolio. When you look at that, very, very clearly, this guy also has a lot of technology inbuilt, right? It used to be on a grand piano, has to be a huge one. It will be on the floor. Now he has a huge piano in front of him. How he manages? That's all technology, right? So this is how we wanted to make our life easier and more comfortable for us. And he can walk through and keep doing that rather than sit and doing something. While we look at the methods, for example, the lean-driven system process for me, and all the processes are very lean. We don't unnecessarily correct a lot of things. The rigor is very, very clear, and oversight management is very, very critical for us, and not only for us, but for the FAAs, for Boeings and Airbuses, and the EASAs and things like that. So we ensure that. Of course, concurrent checks and balances is more important rather than formal reviews, formal audits, after effect audits and things like that. So that's we ensure that those smaller things. If you look at my processes are all regulatory driven, regional process driven, or the business driven. It never gets into more than that to a large extent. We also honor our guys, like a certain set of number of cases has to be a practice for each one of them. It has to be there, so we ensure that practice is done. And we do extensive benchmarking of late with many, many companies. Right from the companies where we are competitors, like Siemens, 3Ms, and Nissans. For example, a lot of people will rush to Toyota for a TPS understanding, right? So we don't rush so much. We rush to Nissan instead of Toyota because Nissan is catching up with Toyota, right? Globally, if you look at that, the catching up burning platform is more important for me. That complacency platform doesn't give me any great value there. If you look at Nissan's equivalent of a TPS for Nissan, it's much more burning. And we Emmanuel have developed a more burning platform called as Emmanuel operating system, which is world class in nature. We have it multiple stages. So the innovation culture is very, very important. The variability versus velocity. That's what every other guy in my organization will talk about. Continuous improvement practices, am I contributing to the variability or curtailing the variability, or am I improving velocity? That's the two things. If I don't do any one of them, thanks. Clear thanks.
How do you encourage innovation in Honeywell?
Yeah. It's sort of bottle of wine that we can give them and make things happen in the lighter sense. It comes in naturally. So we being the role model for that. Okay. When you talk about innovation, I don't talk about destructive innovations which can turn around the world overnight. It could be incremental ones. It could be as simple as, for example, in a laboratory that we have or the labs that we have, there are opportunities for improvement day in and day out to value stream it. Right? For example, if that particular person has picked up a particular instrument which is farther to him or nearer to him and moved it in such a way that is more okay, and I can do 2 more extra test cases because of that, that's also very encouraging. Right? And we do have the patenting process. We do encourage them to patent it, not only in India but in US, based on the resources and other things. Because around $20,000 or something is there when you do it for US, so I can do it more. I have one manager guy who is a business unit leader. He has 125 patents in US. One guy. So we encourage every other guy. Minimum guys should be 4, 5, 3 at a minimum. And it's a formal one, they get it done. So their names are in the registries. That's a part. Each and every one of them will go ahead and see that. Individually we do incremental ones is the most important thing that we do, and clearly do at the basement level, or the ground level. For a field engineer to do that, there is a target. So not just a target, but enablement also happens very, very clearly, and so he or she articulates it and does it very nicely. And it is appreciated, addressed any concerns are there, and is enabled with seed fundings. No threat for funding, you have the good one to be on that. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
In terms of do-it-yourself kits, which makes it very, very easy for us in doing that. We have our boss here, so He helps us to get things done for us. And very, very clearly articulated that the analysis, if you look at the various things that we have in processes, it's very intuitive, very simple, and we are working towards making it much more intuitive there. So when you look at our friend, he has so many things to do, right? How did he manage this so much if there is no process in front of him? He may have a piece of paper or an iPad with him in front of him, but how did he manage it is very, very difficult for him, right? So that's the way we think, and the other organizations we work with are also helping us to make that happen very clearly articulated. MOS, this is very important, and this has been there for the last 2.5 years, I would say. Every other activity that we do in terms of management operating system is clearly articulated, documented at the highest level, not just the roles and responsibilities and basics and things like that, but at the highest level, like whether we can really, really make a difference there. That's very, very clear for them. So nobody has to look upon somebody else as a colleague and say like, okay, how do I go about doing it? Not the engineering part, the non-engineering part of it, the operations part of it, the resources management part of it, the supply chain part of it. So this has been articulated, and this has been a very good practice for us. So we have a leadership standard work, what we call it as Honeywell Operating System, as LSW. This is very clearly saying that as an individual, as a team leader, as a team member, team organizer, or a project manager or an engineering manager, or a business unit leader also will have a LSW very clearly articulated, and it's most of the time fixed on the wall or whiteboards, saying that this is how I'll be doing it weekly, this is how I'll be doing it monthly, this is my responsibility for doing it quarterly. Very, very clear. So I will never ever miss it. It is used as a checklist also. He or she checks it and then it's done very clearly. So it is as detailed. As you progress yourself, you will make it much more detailed. And then they also put in some self-scoring for that and say like, okay, 70% of my LSW has been met all the time. So you are recognizing during the management reviews there. Saying that, yeah, Prabhakar met this, so-and-so met it. And very proudly told to others like, or he or she can even borrow that and use it, not necessarily it has developed on his own. So we don't encourage them to develop all the time. We ask them to shamelessly steal from each other. Enable the ecosystem. For example, here, as I was telling you, the aircraft and other things, we ensure that the ecosystem works with you. For example, we are going into a solenoid product in the recent past, last 1 year. We have acquired some companies indirectly, I would say, not on paperwork. So we said like they were specializing in the automobile industry for actuators. We made them work for us in a different way. So they have now upgraded themselves from automobile supplier to an aircraft supplier or an avionics supplier. So he works and ships and syncs with us. That's how we do that. And it's not only 1 or 2 companies across the companies here. So like that, we ensure that this management operating system flows to him or her down also. We ensure that they also follow the same thing. For example, if you happen to give it to some XYZ company, we ensure they are also following the same set of standards, so that overhead on various things is avoided if they happen to talk the same language from the beginning. It is part of your 2 minutes, right? So that's how we say. So that's the thorns are. We also prick them, but boss, wake up tomorrow morning with a fresh set of eyes. Clearly articulate. I guess this guy also does it, right? He has to work with companies. Where he gives us rose, we don't know. He has to laugh himself. He has to wonder for tomorrow. He has to look at things which is beyond his laptop. Okay? So in terms of materials, the world-class labs that we have, and the labs, earlier we used to do it remotely and things like that. Now we ensure our budgeting are there and the labs are in front of us. And exclusively 1 floor is dedicated for labs in each building. So at multiple buildings we have, each floor has a lab. So that's how we ensure that it's participative and product ownership is done. So infrastructure-wise, if you can see the earlier one and the new one, we ensure people get into that. This is an innovative technique that we have used. It's staked up rather than real estate wasting and things like that. So that's how we do that. And since what of time, I'll quickly close this. This guy also has the similar set of challenges in terms of infrastructure, right? On the measures, as I was telling you, It's multi-level, it is very, very speed prone. No matrix is collected without any meaning. So the decision days are available. Every 15 days we have a decision day. If some problem comes in, you wait. The leadership is available on that day. The work doors are open. You can knock in without appointment and get your problem solved. So in terms of the ones which I can say, from 1999 to 2000, I just picked up some data. We were bare. There are no product launches from India or Honeywell here. Today, I'm proud to say so much is there. Because of sheer opportunity for us to improve upon. Yeah. And this is one thing which, the portfolio that I had, the blue ones, which is real product ownership, right? I am able to deliver a product from India. And the blue ones, you can see that's popping up very heavily. So with that, we'll, as this guy takes into act, like the 6M beyond for him, for us, what is this? Thank you.
Mastering quality and Lean Six Sigma.
You just elevated global head for Genpact. So you just elevated my position. She said global head for Genpact. My name is Ritu Rekha. I head up Lean Six Sigma quality for Genpact. I've been with Genpact since '99. An accountant by profession, was at PricewaterhouseCoopers, went to New Holland Tractors, went to a media company, found myself a long career there with Genpact. That's been there since then. All right, just give me a little bit of sense of the audience here. If it's okay with you, I'll just ask you a couple of questions. How many people here from manufacturing? None. Okay, how many people here from software technology? Terrific. How many people from services? Okay, so that's the perfect audience. All right, terrific. You know, when I came into Six Sigma in '99, when they started teaching us, a lot of the examples were Toyota, GE, Motorola. You know, some of you who've been exposed to some of those concepts, you know, would know about that. I think the last decade and a half is when the services industry has made a big, big leap in terms of really understanding how do these concepts apply into their daily work. I personally think there's a lot of intellectual capital that's been created in this field in the last decade and a half. I do believe that at Genpact we've been lucky. I think we've been serving a number of industries around the globe. You know, a lot of the Fortune 200 companies are our clients, and because of that, I think we've been exposed to global practices, global ways of working, global teams. You know, it's the business that we're in, and because of that, I think our thought processes and our innovation around how to use quality in the services space, I think we've been lucky to really progress on that a lot. And that's what really I bring to you today. I picked up a simple story because I was thinking about what specifically would make sense for this audience, and I thought a simple story, a powerful one, something that's actionable, something that you can take away from this talk, and that's why we chose Accelerate. So let me introduce to you what Genpact is, and then we will go further. This is us. We've been listed since 2005. We are a global company, a large company, 60,000 employees. We are across 18 countries. Anything that we do, anything that my team does has to be global, has to be multilingual, has to touch different countries, has to touch different systems. So really it is that landscape that we are in. We have a number of offerings for our company. We obviously, you know, many decades ago I would have introduced this company